Hello and welcome to Week 10 predictions. This week is jam-packed. There's 22 games with a ranked team in them. That's the time for the most from weeks 1 and 2. This week, every single team that is ranked in the college football playoff rankings is playing. The first one happened on Tuesday night, which was Northern Illinois at number 24 Toledo. Now, I had picked Northern Illinois to win this game because I actually have Northern Illinois winning the whole conference. Um, and a gut feeling just said stick with that, even though Toledo's got the undefeated record going in that game. I stuck with my guns and went with Northern Illinois, and Northern Illinois did come out with the win. So got that one under the belt already this week. So I'm at least one of 22. Number 6, Baylor at Kansas State. That game's tonight. I have Baylor winning it, but if Kansas State shows up, they can give Baylor a run for their money. They've played really well against some good opponents and terribly against others, so it depends on which Kansas State shows up. Number 20, Mississippi State at Missouri. Also a game tonight. I've got Mississippi State winning this one. I really haven't been impressed with Missouri at all this season. Next is number 22, Temple at SMU. That's tomorrow night. That game, I got to give it to Temple. SMU's really struggled this season, and I think Temple's going to have a bounce-back win after a heartbreaking loss to Notre Dame. Next is Penn State at number 21, Northwestern. I originally had Penn State winning this game. Excuse me. But after watching Northwestern play the last couple of weeks, their defense is back into control. And after watching Penn State play the last few games, they've really struggled offensively. I think Northwestern's going to win this one. Next is Vanderbilt at number 10, Florida. Vanderbilt may be able to hang with Florida for the first quarter, but I see no way Vanderbilt can put up 60 minutes against this Florida team. I got Florida winning this one hands down. The next two games are one of those that look like on paper the ranked team's going to just run away with it, but I don't think they will. The first one is number 5 Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is only a 2-loss team, and their 2 losses have been relatively close games. Last week they lost to a North Carolina team that is 7-1, who still gets snuffed in the rankings, but I think Pitt plays Notre Dame hard, keeps it close. Notre Dame's going to win, though, I believe. Number 11, Stanford at Colorado. Now, Stanford, again, on paper, it looks like Stanford's going to run away with this one, but after last week's game against Washington State and after Colorado's last week against UCLA, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. I'm going to give this one to Stanford, though. Back to the Notre Dame game, I said they should win. I mean, I think they will win. It's going to be a tough game, though. Number 16, Florida State at number 1, Clemson. This is the first of 3 top 25 matchups. In this one, I got number 1, Clemson, winning it. I think Clemson's on fire right now. They scored 58 points 2 weeks ago and 56 points last week. This week, I think they'll score some more. I don't think they're going to quite get to 50. Florida State's defense is better than the last 2 defenses they've played. But I think that Clemson's defense will be able to hold Florida State in some semblance of check, and enough to win the game. Next is Arkansas at number 18, Ole Miss. I originally had Arkansas winning this game, but then again, I originally had Arkansas going 11-1, winning the SEC and going into the playoffs. That's obviously not going to happen right now. But I got Ole Miss. I switched my pick to Ole Miss in this one because I think Ole Miss is regaining themselves. They with 2 losses, especially the loss to Memphis, but they're still in the running for the SEC. I think that's put the fight back into this team, and I think they're gonna fight their hardest to win every game from here on out. And I think they beat Arkansas. Next is number 9, Iowa at Indiana. Now Iowa's season from here on out, they're undefeated, and their last 4 games, including this one, they're quote-unquote easy games. This one's not going to be too easy for them. I think Indiana can hang with this team, but I think Iowa comes out on top because of their defense. The next one is a Rutgers at number 17, Michigan. I got Michigan winning this game. I really don't think Rutgers can hang with this Michigan defense, and I think that's what wins the game for them, for the Wolverines. Number 8, TCU at number 14, Oklahoma State. Now, this game's going to be fun. TCU, I got TCU winning this game, but both teams are undefeated. Oklahoma State kind of in a surprising position in my mind. I didn't think they'd be this good at this point in the season. But I think TCU is just a little too much for Oklahoma State to handle. And I think fourth quarter play for TCU is what's going to win them this game. They're going to just pull away from it in the last quarter. Cincinnati at number 25, Houston. I got Houston winning this game, but it could be a close one with Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been running hot and cold all season, so it really depends on which Cincinnati team shows up. But I'm still sticking with Houston on the win. Number 23, UCLA at Oregon State. I got UCLA winning this game, but Oregon State I think is gonna keep up with them. This is a UCLA team that has literally defined hot and cold this season. They've been up and down. And while they are still winning, you still got to fault them a bit, because if they didn't go so hot and cold, they could have been an undefeated team in the running for the national championship right now. As it stands, they're number 23, and they're not going to get anywhere near the playoffs with, I think, 2 or 3 losses already on the season. Next is Navy at number 13, Memphis. I've got Memphis winning the game. However, Memphis has a tendency to let the teams they're playing, no matter how much better Memphis is than them, get up to a double-digit lead and then try to come back on it. If they let Navy do that, they are going to struggle to come back. I still think they'll win, but Navy's got a real good run game. And while they are very one-dimensional, they don't throw the ball almost at all. I think Navy's run game, because of the triple option and how well they run it expertly, better than anybody in the country. And because they run it so well, I think that'll keep them in this game with Memphis, but I got to give the nod to Memphis in the win here. Next is Iowa State at number 15, Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma winning this game. I really don't see Iowa State being able to beat them, but they might be able to keep it close. I got Oklahoma, and I don't think there's any way they lose this game. Number 7, Michigan State at Nebraska. In this game, I got Michigan State beating Nebraska. It was a bit of a difficult one to choose, but in the back of my mind, I always knew I was going to go with Michigan State. It on paper looks like Michigan State should run away with it, but Michigan State's really struggled to run away with any game this season. I think Nebraska keeps it close, but I gotta give the nod to Michigan State on the win. Number 12, Utah at Washington. This is gonna be intense. I think Utah gets the win. I think this is gonna be a real statement game for them, though. Washington has been on fire the last few games. They beat USC at USC. They played Arizona last week, and they demolished them. Like, I believe the final was 49-3. Now, Washington, I think, is going to give this Utah defense a lot to handle, but I think Utah comes out on top just barely. Next is Auburn at number 19, Texas A&M. This is going to be another SEC battle. It's going to be really close back and forth. It's going to be an interesting game to watch, even though I don't think it really has any national title implications at this point in the season, with Texas A&M losing their 2 of their last 3 games. I got to give the nod to Texas A&M. I think they're going to win this one, but Auburn's going to give them almost too much to handle. Next game is number 2, LSU at number 4, Alabama. Now, this game, if I'm being truthful, I think this game was the hardest for me to pick all season. I had originally picked Alabama because I really didn't think LSU would be any good this season. I had them finishing 6-6. Now, in light of how they played so far this season, I think they're going to finish better than that. But much better than that. In fact, I think they only lose 1 game. Now, what I looked at in this game, is Alabama's offense has been very hot and cold, hit and miss, just really good one week and then really not good the next. But Alabama's defense has been solid. They've been able to hold most teams they've played relatively easily. Then I look at LSU. Now, while Alabama's got a great defense, LSU has Leonard Fournette, the front runner for the Heisman, and I really think Fournette is gonna have trouble against this defense, but I don't know if it's enough trouble to do enough to stop them. LSU's defense, I think, is going to be able to handle Alabama's offense relatively well. Maybe not like shut them down, period, but like enough to keep LSU in the game. The question comes down to, can LSU's quarterback step up if Alabama is able to bottle up Leonard Fournette? And I took a good 10 to 15 minutes thinking about this game, where normally I only spend about a minute or two on each game. I'm going to go with LSU. I just have this gut feeling that their QB is ready for this game, and that I think Fournette actually does better than most people think he will. So I'm going to go with LSU on the win, but by maybe just a point. It's going to be a really close game and a really intense game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the game to watch. Hence, they're getting College Game Day there. The last game on the itinerary is Minnesota at number 3 Ohio State. This game last season was a very, very close game. Minnesota almost beating Ohio State. I don't think it will be as close this season due to Minnesota not having their head coach, and it's at Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to win the game, just like last season. It might be a close one, but I don't know. This Minnesota team, it depends on if they play Ohio State like they played Michigan last week. If they play them like they played Michigan, it'll be a very fun game indeed. So that's it for this predictions video. It's going to be a fun week. Like I said, every team in the top 25 is playing this week, so it's going to be an interesting mix-up at the end of the season. At the end of this one on Tuesday, we'll get to see what the rankings are, and I think depending on what I got to do Tuesday, I may be posting a reaction video to the top 25 release. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video, click the like button, and then hit me up with a subscribe. I'm still waiting on my first subscriber, I believe. So, hey, could be you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.